So continuing on from our previous video, we're going to get more into the terminology about databases. So let's go through some common database terminology so that we can sort of be on the same page. This will make it a lot easier to understand the app when you understand what the fundamentals are. Firstly, a database. Well, at the very basic level, the database is the container for all the data that you store or that resides inside. When you use the term database, you're referring to the entire data, and the file effectively. In Android, incidentally, the entire database contents are stored in one single file. But do see the next slide for more information. Database dictionary. Now this provides a comprehensive list of the structure and types of data used to record, or that are used in recording the data. More on those specifics later, but in SQLite there is a file called SQLite_master that has this information in it. Now you don't generally need to refer to that or know much about it, but it's there for you anyway, and as we go through the app, you'll see how that sort of works. What is a table? Well, a table is a collection of related data held in the database. So think of a contact, for example. Contact where that stores the name, address and phone number of perhaps your customers. Or what about an invoice table that records the invoice number, the date, that's meant to say date instead of data, the customer, perhaps the customer name and the amount of money that the invoice was for. Another example, a real life example, on an Android device, on the browser or using the standard browser that's built into Android, bookmarks, the name that you assign to a bookmark and the URL are actually stored in a database. What is a field? Field is the basic unit of data in a table. So a field in a database can be thought of in a similar way to what a variable in Java is. You've seen those obviously in different apps. So it's given a name and a type, just as it is in Java, but this is for a table. And for example, it could be, is it a string? Is it going to accept, is it a number? Is it going to accept, text, etc.? Now the database itself is responsible for storing the data. Fields are also often referred to as columns in databases. I know this can be technically confusing sometimes because if you come from an Excel background, you'll find that the definition probably to you is different. You're thinking of a column as an entire set of data. In this context, we're talking about an individual, like a basic unit of data. More on that shortly. A row, slash record. This is a single set of data for all fields that are in that table. So if you've got 3 or 4 fields, or in the example on the screen, if the table has a name and a phone number, then a record or a row could be my name and phone number, and another row or record could be your name and phone number. So it's really a collection. It's a collection of all the fields that comprise one sort of entry, if you will, in that database, or in that table, I should say. And you can see here a visual representation on the screen. This is showing you a table. Table view, you can see the individual columns or fields, ID number, name, date of birth, phone, class, tutor, room. They're all columns, as SQL likes to refer to them, or fields. And you can see that the record or the record set, you can see that's highlighted, this second entry there. That collection collectively, that's a row, or a record. I can interchangeably use either of those terms to identify it. Now, tables can be related to other tables. This is useful, for example, if let's say you had a customer table which contained standard customer details, such as their name, address, credit limit. You might have another table called invoices containing all that customer's purchases. So you could see how you perhaps wouldn't want to lump them all into the same table. You might want to separate them out. So there is a mechanism to relate those two tables and to the individual records in each to each other. More to come. That was a very simplistic, quick overview of databases, but it's enough to get you started, and we're going to explore more as we go through our app. So coming up in the next video, we're going to discuss more database concepts, but I'm going to go into more detail, specifically how this all relates to Android development. So I'll see you in that next video.